Go into some player awards. We've got a few blokes here in the comments. Maybe after we discuss the NFL, we might just briefly chat a bit of cricket. Yeah. But we've got upcoming player awards. The MVP, for what I've seen, is essentially a 2-horse race. We've sort of discussed, the two big names who will be playing tomorrow in Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. The other nominations are Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, and Joe Burrow. So we've got 4 quarterbacks and a receiver. I think it's a 2-horse race. I think the odds reflect that.
Yeah, I think statistically Mahomes was better than all the others, and Jalen was probably the only one that could have taken that spot with his extra, 10 touchdowns on the ground. Yeah. So I think if Jalen hadn't got hurt, it would be him. So, yeah. That was my thoughts.
So you think Mahomes?
I think Mahomes
edges out Hurts?
I think with the All Pro voting that they showed a couple of weeks ago, that it's kind of pretty clear that Mahomes would be the favourite there. So I think it's Mahomes.
I'm going to go devil's advocate. I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he does things that other football players can't do, throwing the ball.
Yep.
I think you have to consider the fact that if you get within the 5, Jalen Hurts may as well be Derrick Henry because no one could stop him, on whether it be rolling out or whether it be on the QB sneak. I think it is essentially a coin flip. Maybe that flip is weighted a little bit more in the Mahomes camp, but I'd love to see Jalen Hurts. And just saying, shut the fuck up to all the people that said, you can do it at Oklahoma, but you won't be able to do it at the NFL. You don't have the accuracy. Shitting on his accuracy. Yeah, you're a running back. Oh yeah, you can squat 650 pounds. Yeah. Good on you. You're not going to be a pro. You're not going to be a pro quarterback. And him just saying a big, how's this MVP look? Bitches to them, but yeah, I think it's a 2-horse race. Obviously, Allen's had a great year, disappointing for the Bills. Joe Burrow could be an outsider. Pretty rare for a receiver to win it. Justin Jefferson, I think nearly broke some records this year.
I think Justin Jefferson will win that Offensive Player of the Year.
I also agree.
Yeah, it makes too much sense there. Defensive Player of the Year, I think.
Well, let's roll quickly into that offensive. So we've got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes.
So if you rule the other two out because they're in the MVP conversation,
do you give it to the other one? Because they do that. I did a bit of research this week. I did a bit of research. My kind of thinking was, Offensive Player of the Year generally goes to a running back or a receiver.
Yeah, the dude that were topped that level but couldn't win an MVP because it said quarterback. Yeah.
However, in the 50 years of existence of Offensive Player of the Year, 20 quarterbacks have won it. So 2 out of 5 times it's a quarterback, and most other times it tends to be a running back. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that, say, Mahomes wins MVP and Hurts wins Offensive Player of the Year or vice versa.
Did Cooper get it last year?
Cooper did get it last year, and recency bias suggests that it's a non-quarterback that picks it up.
I feel just because of how close Jefferson got to that all-time yardage record, I think it's going to be Jefferson.
I agree. And then I think it's, as aforementioned, coin flip between Hurts and Mahomes. Yep. Monks, anything to add there?
No, not really. I think you're right. Hurts obviously running the ball, that impactive offensive player. If he doesn't get MVP, then that's obviously the best argument for him. I'm
not a real quarterback there.
Just change that QB to an RB. Tyreek Hill obviously has had a standout year as well.
You said
one season removed from Mahomes, showing that he is that top tier receiver as well. It's not Mahomes and what he can do. So
true.
But
I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention well enough to you before.
You never do.
Because you said the 20 quarterbacks have won this award. Did you say how many was quarterback MVP, quarterback offensive?
I think a lot of them are double ups.
Okay.
Yeah. Which would
lead me. Which would lead to that whole, probably MVP for Mahomes and Hurts could get the offensive. But I just feel like Jefferson may be a bit hard done by for his season he had there.
DPO, why? Why do they pick 3 nominees and not 5 for this? Does anyone know?
Usually, I think most of the others were 3 as well. Like the rookies, and that was 3. It might be just what they narrowed it down to.
Okay,
so we've got guys that might have got votes. They've just narrowed it down for them. Who will get the rest?
We got Nick Bosa, defensive end, 49ers. Chris
Exactly.
Jones, who we're just talking about, defensive tackle for the Chiefs. And Micah Parsons. One has to remember that he's in his second year in the pros. I
Can't
think
go for rookie of the year.
Well, Bosa's what, 4?
not
that many
into it.
either, so.
Not too many into it. Led the league in sacks from what I've seen. I think Bosa is favourite.
Yeah, I think Bosa will win it as well. Which are unlucky for Chris Jones. He's had an elite year.
Both of them really.
Yeah. If you go on off the stats, if he's got the most sacks and got more than Parsons, so that's probably why he'll get chose. So I think Nick's a good choice there.
Who else would you be expecting in that list outside of those top 3?
That's a great question. Has anyone? No one's really shined at middle linebacker. Has anyone shined at corner?
Yeah, well,
What about Sauce Gardner in his first year?
Yeah, but I think
A touch off.
yes. I'd say the cornerbacks that have won this award usually had to get like 10 picks in the year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not shut down kind of.
Yeah, it's-
Champ Bailey years where no one looked at my side of the field kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yes. It's
Although, did he win this award?
he did win this award and did get 10 picks that year. So that's how I know. And I'm pretty sure.
And then the years after, people stopped throwing at the Champ Bailey side.
Yeah, I think Santa Samuel first. I think he got 10 as well and got a defensive player of the year. But that's kind of you got to get turnovers and affect the game in a more way than just not get anything thrown at you, because again, it's statistics.
I suppose that's it. Like, it's very heavily driven sort of by like
Yeah.
how many sacks you get, or
And same for middle linebackers. Like, it doesn't matter if you get 200 tackles. You got to get 200 tackles, 5 picks, and 5 sacks. Like, you got to have a complete game, 5 like fumble recoveries. Like, you need more of a complete game. Whereas it's, I guess, for the defensive end guys, the guys that affect the game with sacks, that's how you get involved in that spot. So
And for picks, there was no standout. So Minka Fitzpatrick, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Justin Simmons, and Tariq Woolen all split it with 6. So you'd think probably no one in the secondary puts their hand up.
no, I don't think anyone will get it in the secondary.
Moving on down, what else have we got? Rookie of the year? And coach of the year?
find that.
Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson. Discuss Chris Olave, stiff, perhaps?
Perhaps, yeah. Statistically, was behind Wilson in all categories, so you can see that reason. I think Olave started the year really well and then kind of had a slower back half, whereas I think Wilson kind of had a better middle section of the year and was a bit slow towards the end of that, but still did statistically well. Walker was probably, once he stole the job there at Seahawks, got 1,000 yards, was pretty good. What I find interesting, and Brock Purdy's in here, of course, because he's had the 7 wins now. If you look at his numbers, they're almost identical to what Jalen Hurts has done in their last 7 starts.
Which is nuts.
Which is nuts, and then also for a quarterback to win offensive rookie of the year after 7 starts, I think he might actually do it.
I think so too.
Because if I look at Wilson's numbers, if you look at Justin Jefferson's rookie year, where he didn't win the award, he had like 400 more receiving yards. So I think it's maybe a bit of a down year for offensive rookie, which makes me think that maybe could lead to Purdy actually winning this award.
Here's one for you. Numbers aside, games played aside, of those 3 players, who has been the most integral to their team's success?
Oh, Purdy, of course.
Yeah, I think that's the way.
If he steps in and they
Imagine he
lose all
wins the Super Bowl this year and he didn't win the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. If he'd come in and they won none of those games, then the 49ers aren't playing in the playoffs. So he had to do his job, and he's done an excellent job at that.
And that's what a quarterback's number one job is.
Yeah, they've played.
You can talk about yards, you can talk about ratings, you can talk about touchdowns to intercept ratio, but your number one job is to win football games.
And statistically, they have been better with him than they had with the other 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
they're scoring 10 more points a game on average than they were beforehand. So they've gone from a 25 to a 35 point average, which is crazy to think about with you've got a rookie quarterback who was picked last in the draft. So
Mr. Relevant.
Yeah, Mr. Relevant.
Let's go.
I think it's an excellent story. I think that's probably the way they sell it. And I just don't think Walker and Wilson, compared to previous years of rookie winners, have statistically, those clear-cut kind of numbers that they did. So that's what kind of makes me lead that, yes, Purdy could probably sneak in here and steal this one.
Monks, you got some Purdy versus Brady comparisons. I imagine early on it's all Brock Purdy.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Tom Brady's first,
Different
obviously
eras,
his
bro.
first season, very different. But
Hindsight's 2020.
Tom Brady played
Yeah.
with the dinosaurs, bro. Is that all?
with us.
yeah, but yeah, very quick. Brock Purdy's definitely done a lot better. Has had a lot better start to Tom Brady in his first year where he started more games. And more games than sitting on the bench. So yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, there is 3. Sauce Gardner, who we spoke briefly about, Aiden Hutchinson, and Tariq Woolen, who was a 5th-round pick, I believe, for the Seahawks. We just spoke about him getting 6 picks this year.
Yep.
I think all credit to Tariq Woolen and what he's been able to achieve this year. I believe this is probably a 2-horse race between Sauce and Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, but I think Woolen was probably what's going to hurt Sauce's candidacy in this. Because Sauce didn't, impact the game as much there with the
In
turnovers.
terms of the numbers, yeah.
Yes, he had a pretty good year coverage-wise. Some of the hardcores that watch that might be question how much PI he got away with as well as part of that process. But I think what Aiden Hutchinson's did with the Lions, I think he might end up winning this.
Yeah, I think so too. He probably was the most ready to play NFL defensive end that I can remember in quite some time.
It's interesting. You look at his numbers, he almost had about double statistic-wise than what Walker did, who went 1. So so he's played really well in that space. I think Walker actually played better in the playoffs when they got there. But, yeah.
Lions weren't in the playoffs.
No, I meant for the Jags. Like,
I'm with you.
yeah, so when
it's just salty Packers fan here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they kicked you out. So, but I think the Lions, Walker's kind of back like last few games, then leading into the playoffs. He played a lot better than he had as a early rookie throughout the season. Whereas Aiden Hutchinson kind of just came in as that dude and just had a good year all around. And they've kind of built around that blue collar, that kind of style that he plays and the Lions play. And
Hard knocks, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of pushed them into the point where they almost could have made the playoffs.
Comeback Player of the Year is interesting because all these guys have had some sort of season and all kind of extenuating circumstances differ. Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Geno Smith. Thoughts?
I think Christian McCaffrey's probably the outsider on this one. Not playing as many games.
But you look at sheer numbers, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
True.
But also, if you want to talk sheer numbers, guess who now owns the most passing yards in a Seahawks jersey in a single season?
Yeah.
It's not Russell Wilson. No. It's Geno fucking Smith.
Yeah. He's done surprisingly well. Like Saquon
Well, you talk about
been
teams,
great.
And team success as well. Like Saquon coming back and no one expected this Giants team to do anything. And then they go to the last 8 teams in the NFL.
I agree. And I think the way, if you go for who was the most valuable to their team success in that, I think Saquon really carried a lot of that Giants team for a lot of the year and really was a big difference for them and statistically did a really, really good job. Christian McCaffrey, left the Panthers and the Panthers got better, which has been interesting.
I don't know if that's more CMC because the 49ers got better with CMC.
I think it was probably more a whole greener pastures for everyone involved in that. But, it's very hard to go past the quarterback in this. But of those, 3, 2 of them have gone a little bit further playoff-wise. So I'm leaning more towards Saquon. I think in the New York market, it makes more sense.
I'm going to go Geno. Believe in Geno.
I'll go Geno. I think where the Seahawks could have ended up compared to where they did end up, they've done very well this season. Again, Giants obviously played overs as well, but Danny Dimes had a great season as well. Yeah. Again, probably due to Barkley being able to open up their playbook a little bit more. But yeah, again, that quarterback bias as well, I suppose.
Let's wrap up our chat about player awards. With Coach of the Year. Not really a player, but anyways. We've got Brian DeBoll from the Giants, Sean McDermott, Bills, Doug Peterson, Jags, Cole Shanahan, 49ers, Nick Sirianni, Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to eliminate the first 2, and I think it's between the last 3. And I think Doug Peterson probably will miss out. And I think it'll be between the two guys playing off in the conference.
Tomorrow, yeah, for the NFC. I agree. I think it's a coin flip between these guys. I'm going to go Nick Sirianni on basis of expectation at the start of the year. I don't think anyone really saw the Eagles going this well.
Maybe not this far. I think it was a prove it year for them because they kind of like, hey, we've gone out and got everything we can to make Jalen as good as he needs to be. And he's, as part of that process over there as the coach, getting them into the right space they need to and get the most out of Hurts. I think they've kind of achieved that. So I can definitely see it. But then the same story on the other side of the ball on the other team. Kyle Shanahan's done an excellent job with Brock Purdy, as we've mentioned. So, like I said, coin toss, I think it'll be between those two.
Marks, anything to add?
No, not really. I pretty much agree with all of that. Again, the turnaround for the Jags this season has been phenomenal.
Doug Peterson probably has a shout, I think.
Yeah, I think Peterson over the other two.
Yeah, definitely.
My thoughts.
But 49ers and Eagles. Again, you're talking about the top offense, top defense in the leagues there. Can't go past that.